So yeah, the first bot that this thing uses is the Raid Organizer bot. The second bot is the Dyno Bot. It is the same bot that we use over on the official RoH Discord. And I purposefully did that to streamline things so that in the future, if there arises any, if we find that we need a bit more oversight or there are security concerns or things of that nature, just more moderation, upper leadership in Discord or in RoH has a bot at their disposal that they're already familiar with. Right at the moment, Dyno Bot is only automatically assigning the member role to users that join. As you can see, Metanari joined, and she was assigned the member role as soon as it happened. That's the only thing I have it doing right now, but it can do a lot more, and we can investigate that in the future if so needed. But right now, I only really needed it to auto-assign role. Below the welcome screen here is the server rules. This is just a copy-paste of the rules regarding communication, taken directly from the guild charter, which I've linked in its entirety here as well. Nothing more needs to be said about that. I just, naturally, I expect the same attitude and conduct here that, we would expect over on the official RoH Discord. The next couple of channels here, these are read-only channels. All of these are read-only channels here under the FAQ. These just describe Tier 1 trials. You're probably all well familiar with this right now if you've read my other posts, Tier 2 and Tier 3. This is just a bit more information on that. My successor, PvE officer, whoever they may be, is free to alter this as they see fit. They will inherit the tier system. It is not set in stone. It's just at the purview of whoever is in charge and organizing things and can do what they like with that. Now, here's the meat and potatoes. Trial signups. I have a channel here for Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. It is very, very simple. Very, very simple. I really wanted to find a bot that did not require users or leadership to have to be knowledgeable, one, in code of any kind, or have to be knowledgeable of a lot of code in order to create events. Here's how it goes. If you are an assistant or a raid lead, what have you, sometimes they're one and the same. This is the only bit of code that you need to input. You're going to see me input it right here. I have to let go of push to talk. I'm sorry. And that's it. That is the code. It is !create to indicate that you're creating an event. In quotations, the title of that event, whatever you want to call it. The date. When I was setting up the bot, it did not give me the option for backslashes, which I found kind of weird, so it just uses dashes. And then the description of the event here, also in quotes, which is entirely optional. You don't need to have a description. So once an assistant or a raid lead or officer, whatever, puts that in and creates their event, you'll see this. Members will see this come up. And all you have to do to sign up is click on one of these reactions that I've already provided. Now I've pinned this on top of all the applicable channels, what these reactions actually mean. So you got melee ranged magicka, melee ranged stamina, healer, tank, and then backup fill. This removes yourself. The alarm clock. Let's see. How about this? Let's say I sign up for a tank, because of course I would. Draenor is already signed up. Look at that. Signed up for a tank, and we have a melee magicka DPS here. Now, goodbye Draenor. You'll notice these little numbers right here next to my name is number 1. This is the order in which people have signed up. So this is going to be really helpful for trial organizers to determine, first come, first serve, that kind of deal. Now, if you find that you're going to be late, you signed up for a trial, and you're going to be late by like 5 or 10 minutes, that is what the alarm clock emoji here is for. You hit that once, and it's going to add 5 minutes. You hit it more, it'll add another 5 minutes, and another 5, and another, and so on and so forth. So if you're going to be running late, you can just hit that however many times it is necessary for to indicate that. If you find that plans have changed and you're actually going to be on time, you will just hit this little lovely arrow here, and it'll get rid of that entirely. Alternatively, if you're not going to show up at all or something has changed, you can just hit this and it removes yourself from everything. And ultimately, if you just kind of want to be a backup, you can hit the question mark here, and it'll list you as backup, so the organizer knows who is available to them as a backup. Again, all of these and what their meanings are pinned at the top of each one of these channels, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And that's how that goes. That's all there is to it. You just log into Discord here. You can check whatever channel that's applicable to you, whatever. Same rules apply. Whenever we create events, it'll be at least 2 days in advance. You'll see them here, and all you have to do is react if you want to sign up. It is that simple. There's nothing special that a member of the guild has to do on their end. And then below that, I have a channel here for logs. This is a read-only channel. I'll open that up probably to assistants and whatnot to post logs, and then below that we have clips and highlights. I'll get to that in a minute, Chelly. Okay, after that, obviously these channels here are just read-only channels. Only people who have been designated by me to the bot can create events. If somebody else who isn't an assistant or a raid lead or an officer tries to type in this channel, it's automatically deleted. The idea is to keep these respective channels clean, these sign-up channels. That way users can check them quickly and see what the status of any given event is without having to dig through walls of text. However, I do understand that there is some discussion that needs to happen on the fly about, what kind of class you're bringing, or roles, or anything specific like that maybe you want to discuss. Maybe you want to coordinate with your other healer, your other tank. You get the idea. That's what these 3 channels are for down here. These 3 discussion channels. That's all they're for. You can tag Randall, Snicket, myself, T, whatever, whoever's leading a trial, your fellow trial mates. You can see who signed up here. You can tag them down here, and just talk shop. That's what these 3 channels here are for. It's very simple. All right, below that we have Dungeon Mayhem. Now, normally with Dungeon Mayhem, it's just kind of you show up for the event, you join the quote-unquote lobby, as we have called it, and then Snicket sends you off. Based on your levels and what kinds of roles she has available. And that's been working pretty well, right? But now with this thing, Snicket can create that event about a day or 2 in advance, and it's up to her. And people can sign up the same exact way, but the reactions are a little bit different. We have tank over level 50, healer over level 50, and DPS over level 50. Opposite, we have tank under level 50, healer under 50, DPS under 50, and then we have the backups and then our alarm clocks and things like that. And what this is for is to make it easier for Snicket to organize groups ahead of time, to such a degree where if you've indicated that you're showing up and Snicket can see that, she can just pre-make them. She can make those groups on her own time and then send everybody off. The idea is to just kind of expedite that process and get everybody into their groups and having fun that much quicker. So it's the same process here. A little less specific because it's dungeons, so obviously you don't need to optimize what kind of DPS you are and so on and so forth. Snicket helped me figure all that out. This was a lot longer. Originally, I had way more emojis here. But yeah, it's that simple for dungeons. And then below that, we have the LFG channel. And this is exactly what it sounds like, what it reads on the tin. Looking for group. If there's a dungeon that you want to do, or you want to do a battleground with people, you can ask. Drainer's about to type something.
Where's Guts when we need him?
Love you. But that's all this is for. I do know, and I mentioned this actually in the application form that I put up for a new PvE officer, but the dungeon request forum has sort of suffered in relevancy over the last year, specifically after we adopted Discord, because I've noticed people are just kind of making do with forming groups on the fly, either in Discord or in game. All anybody ever really has to do these days is just ask. So it'll ultimately be up to my successor if they want to push using that forum a bit more or use Discord. The options are there. But again, Discord has the benefit of being just easier to access when on the go, specifically. So we have an LFG channel here for that. Now, big surprise, PvP. I spoke with Bence and I said, hey, you know what? Organization, in terms of events between PvE and PvP, has quite a bit of crossover. Well, I'll give you a little something. So, we have a PvP section here. First, we have a read-only channel that shows off whatever the score is on that particular day for Raven Watch. I figure a PvP assistant can update this. As you can see, I've updated it with today with the score evaluation for Raven Watch non-CP. And this is just a convenience for people to look at what the scores are on the fly between the various campaigns. So as we approach the end of a campaign, where reward tiers might really matter, you can kind of pick and choose where people want to go. Decide for yourself what you really want to put your effort into. So just a little bit of convenience there. Below that, we have Sunday Worship, which are Battlegrounds. Now, I spoke about this briefly last night before Skull yanked me by the neck, but some changes happening with PvP. As I mentioned, we are only going to be doing Imperial City sewers, or Imperial City, rather, just once a month due to the vastly reduced interest that we've been seeing in it. And 3 of those Sundays out of the month is going to be dedicated to Battlegrounds. And these signups, as you can see, are exactly the same as what I provided for Snicket with Dungeon Mayhem. Much like with Dungeons, Battlegrounds, there is a under 50 and over 50 queue that you can group up with people with. And so this will be used by Bence or whoever else organizes, much in the same way. You'll indicate that you are showing up. You'll indicate if you're under 50, below 50, what your role is, yada, yada, yada. And then Bence can organize people that much faster, or one of his assistants, or whoever is leading Battlegrounds. More details about when we will be doing that, as far as PvP, when we will actually be doing that, will come later. I will let Bence decide when he ultimately wants to make that decision. But right now, it's a bit harder, because my man needs assistance. We had Revenite step down recently. Thank you for your service. And so we are in need of 2 more assistants in PvP. I'm really hyping that. And I'm hoping, actually, that this Battleground event here will encourage someone to step up who enjoys BGs and wants to help organize people to enjoy them as well. So contact Bence if you're interested in being a PvP assistant. Great fun to work with. He and Straub, I mean, y'all know Straubs. That man is like eternally hopped up on coffee. So contact them if you are interested, but please, 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 we need PvP assistance. And then after that, same deal, Cyrodiil. Sorry, excuse me. Sign-ups here for Cyrodiil. Melee, range, stamina, DPS, Magicka. The specifics here don't matter as much for either Cyrodiil or Battlegrounds. They're just there to be there. But sometimes in Cyrodiil it helps to know, specifically with supports, what you're working with, because that can help determine what kinds of things that you're able to do as a group, be it like take flags or keeps or so on and so forth. This template may be adjusted in the future to be a little bit more specific to Cyrodiil. So what I can do, for example, is I can tell the bot to have a role for Siege Master. Somebody who just brings all the siege. A group of people. Things of that nature, just fun little RP stuff like that, specific to Cyrodiil. So this can be evolved in the future. Now, after that, we have the public test server discussion channel, which is exactly what it says on the tin. I have heard the concerns of people who don't necessarily want to follow the PTS and don't really care to discuss the PTS, and so this is a place for people who do. That's all this is. Talk about what's happening in game, what's changing on the PTS, what's going on during all that. People can talk shop, whatever. That's this place. And then finally, at the bottom, a bunch of read-only channels for the specific roles in-game. Tanking, I provided a 24/7 invite link to the Tank Club, which is a fantastic tanking Discord and a beginner tank guide. Assistants or officers or what have you can put more into these channels if they find really, really good resources, be it from our own forums or from third parties. They can link them here. Same with healing. I have provided a 24/7 Discord link to Healer's Haven, which is exactly like the Tank Club Discord. Very good information here, and a healing beginner guide, and so on and so forth. And once again, others can post more here if they want. DPS, I've linked to Lico's website. And what this is a collection of YouTube videos and guides from fantastic content creators that are in like top tier raid guilds and PvP builds and things like that. So it's a good resource for that. And then there's a general which has nothing in it, and a PvP which has nothing in it. So those things will be populated in the future. But that's the server. That's it so far. That's it in its entirety. What is the date? The date is the 5th. I am going to open this thing up for people to join for the next 2 weeks. I'm just going to have the link available. I'm going to be posting it everywhere. People can join. We're not going to be using it yet, but I want to open the gates and get as many people into it as possible before we actually start using it. Now, what will happen to the forums? So there will still be trial notifications on the forums. I will still... I and my successor, we're still going to keep those notification lists updated. I originally wasn't, but then it dawned on me that there is value in doing that. And the reason for that is because this server doesn't have the same connections to our forums as the official RoH server does. And so determining who is an active member and who is not is going to be harder on this end without continuously updating those notification lists and just doing a weekly or a monthly cross-reference, or every 6 months, as normal, of who is active and who is not. And then those people can just be purged from this Discord. So it's going to be important to continue to update those notification lists. With that being said, there will still be threads that get made for Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 trials, just as another form of notification. Those threads will be locked, and they will simply link here, is what will happen there. There are obviously other numerous applications for this thing with regards to the other departments. I don't want to go too overboard with that because I do intend to work with Skull and the EC in terms of establishing, or at least in terms of continuing that discussion about what we can provide on the official RoH Discord server. So those discussions will be continuing and ongoing. If it gets to a point where we don't need a side server, that would be fantastic. But there is quite a lot that can be used. So we'll see how that goes. That does it for me. Thanks guys for coming. Good stuff. Fashion and Conquest at 8:30. Cersei, where are they going? She's muted herself.